I was 39. He was 15. His mother was dying, and I was her hospice nurse. Disciplined, professional, and untouched by anything resembling desire. But then I met him, a boy with the eyes of a man, who watched me like I was the only light in his dark world. I never thought I'd hear from him again. But 13 years later, he wrote me a letter that shattered every wall I'd built around my heart. We met again, this time as equals, and what unfolded between us wasn't scandal. It was salvation. He didn't see an older woman, he saw me, the woman who never stopped feeling. This is the story of how grief gave way to love, how time refused to erase what hearts remembered, and how a younger man taught me that the right kind of love doesn't ask for permission. It just finds you. He was 15 when I met him. His mother was dying of cancer, and I was the hospice nurse. I was 39 back then. Quiet, disciplined, always in control. I didn't cry at sad movies. I didn't believe in weakness, and I certainly didn't believe desire could return after so much time. But then I saw his eyes. That first time I visited them, he looked at me like sunlight, like I was hope made real, like I could stop death itself. He had this way of watching, not like a boy, not quite, like someone who'd seen pain and still chose to keep feeling. It disarmed me more than grief, more than the tubes or silence. His mother, Clara, was gentle, fierce in her own quiet way. We became close over weeks, and I watched him, silently watching, helping fold laundry, clean spills, always careful with his mother. He never cried in front of her, but I heard him once, late, curled in the hallway outside, soundless sobbing like breath breaking. It cracked something in me open. I would bring them tea nightly. Sometimes he'd be reading aloud, sometimes just sitting beside her, as though his presence could heal. He was tall, already lean, intense, and when he looked at me, it was never with teenage eyes. It was hunger, but not lust, something older, stranger, aching deep. One night his mother slept, and he asked to walk me out. The porch was cold, air sharp. I remember him standing beside me, too close, too still, too aware. He said, "You're the only one who talks to her like she's living." I didn't know what to say, so I just touched his shoulder. He didn't flinch like boys do. He leaned into it like warmth. Clara passed on a Tuesday. He didn't cry at the bed. He kissed her forehead, whispered something, and then walked out into sunlight. I didn't hear from him after, didn't expect to, honestly. He was 15, I was 40. Life moved in its proper directions, and I went back to silence. Years passed quietly, then quickly. I changed states, homes, routines. Still single, still dutiful, still alone. I buried both my parents, watched seasons blur and dissolve. Romance faded from my life. Desire felt like a joke. I wasn't old, but forgotten. Invisible in the way women are after our softness becomes strength. Then I got a letter, tucked between bills and coupons, no return address, just handwriting. I opened it without thought and saw his name, grown sharp. He was 28 now, living in the same town. Said he found me through hospitals, said he'd never forgotten me, said he'd dreamed of me often. I stared at those pages, trembling. Was it inappropriate? Yes, maybe. Was it thrilling more than anything? He wanted to see me again. Coffee, he wrote, just one time. I didn't sleep that night. We met in a small cafe. He walked in like heat rising. Still tall, broader now, masculine. But the eyes were still him, that same deep, unblinking gaze. When he smiled, it shook me. It was not a boy's smile. It was a man remembering desire. He spoke of law school, loss, of women who never saw him, of how nothing ever felt real since the day I touched him. I tried to smile, resist it, tried to stay in control, but I felt heat under skin. He noticed. Of course he did. "Why are you afraid of this?" he asked, voice low, steady. I laughed, not convincingly. "You were a boy once, and now," he said softly, "now I see the woman who saved the person I loved, who looked at me and saw something worth waiting for, that broke something inside me, all my pride, all my rules. They just scattered like dry leaves. We didn't kiss that first night. We just talked for hours, but there was heat between us, slow, heavy, unbearably alive. When we touched hands at goodbye, I didn't want to let go. He pursued me gently, insistently, never rushed, never backed down. He made me feel like spring, like I was rain and thunder. He'd cook for me, watch me, touch my wrist like reverence. When he kissed me finally, it was nothing like I expected. Soft, yes, but also consuming. He kissed like someone starving and somehow still full of grace. I tried to push him away. People will talk, I said. He smiled. Let them talk then. You deserve someone younger, I added. He laughed. You mean inexperienced. You mean someone who doesn't know the taste of grief and longing. He pressed his forehead to mine. I want the woman who survived, who never forgot how to feel. We became lovers like thunderfalls. Sudden shaking, undeniable, loud inside. He traced every inch of me like rediscovery, like sacred ground. I learned to moan again, to tremble, to ache, to need. He whispered things that made me melt. Not just filthy things, though sometimes, but things like you're my peace, and I want your morning voice, and I love the way you read with one hand raised. It wasn't just the sex, though it was hungry, desperate, real. It was the way he saw me, every line, every scar, every sigh. He made aging feel like art. He touched my stretch marks reverently. He said my hips were poems. He worshipped my body like scripture, and I believed every word he breathed. We spent months in that fever, walking hand in hand through stairs, dining in restaurants where people whispered, but I stopped hearing their voices. His voice was louder inside me. He never asked me to change. He never made me feel shame. He made me feel chosen always. One night, lying in candlelight, he said he wanted forever. Not in theory, in marriage. I blinked at the ceiling, stunned. I'm 11 years older, I said. He laughed. You're 11 years deeper, and I want to drown in you. And just like that, I wept. We married barefoot by the sea. No big crowd, no fanfare, just us, wind and vows. He kissed me like a promise. And I knew it was real. Now I'm 51. He's 40, and I've never felt younger. There are nights I watch him sleep and remember that boy weeping and how the universe dared to let love rise from sorrow. I no longer fear the mirror. I no longer dread the years, because every day he sees me, not the nurse, not the woman, not the older one or widow, but the soul who saw him first, and now wakes beside his heartbeat. And I swear to you this kind of love is real. It breaks rules, defies reason, but it heals every wound you hide. If you're brave enough to feel again, he taught me that, and I will never unlearn it. I don't know what love is supposed to look like. I just know how it felt when he said my name, when he touched me like I was still young, still worthy, still wanted. He wasn't a boy anymore, and I wasn't hiding anymore. We found each other in the space grief left behind, in the silence between who we were and who we dared to become. It wasn't about the years between us. It was about the way he saw me, like time had never touched me. And maybe it was wrong, or maybe it was the most honest thing I've ever known. So if this story leaves you unsettled, good, because real love isn't always clean. It's complicated, messy, timed by fate, not logic. But I lived it, I felt it, and I won't apologize for it. He was her son, but he became my beginning, and I was finally his home.